and welcome to this session live video. It's a first for many, so give me a break if it's not perfect, but I'm really appreciating your time here and I want to extend my gratitude for spending this hour with me. Now, this session will be a bit different. It's a type of a journey, and so I hope that you will stay for the entire journey, not leave halfway through. Bear with me. Also, you will need to have a pen and paper as I will be asking you to engage in some mindfulness exercise, and therefore, please stay with this journey. I will allocate time at the end to answer your questions. So if you can, keep them within you, and perhaps they'll be answered through the process, and maybe, if not, you can always ask me afterwards. But I really want to stay present, and so by constantly answering questions, I might lose track, or others might not really have the same questions. And at the end, I will give you an exercise, and I hope that you will all be willing to partake. And this happiness aid has the name of happiness in it. And to be honest, I'm really grateful and happy to be here right now. On the 13th of April, Julian and his team launched Happiness Aid, which is a great way to have a new reality present, shifting from the 10 type of external locus of control that really showed us that we can respond to our presence and to come from this victim mentality to coming into a presenter reality. But with Happiness Aid, Julian is able to unify thousands and to make a great outcome from this noticeable atrocity. And we too can do this. But I understand that this is a very stressful time for many, and so I'm offering this online live video workshop to help to get more happiness. Often I find that happiness is linked to an internal locus of control. And that love from which the title comes from, being your inner voice in a world filled with noise, really requires you to be who you are. Because when we are living in this world that is really filled with quite a bit of noise, and when I say noise, I don't mean the car honking on the road or the neighbor's drum and bass rave. I mean the noise in our communication with the world of who we are. We are constantly communicating by our actions and our responses and giving a statement of, this is who I am. But it's not really who I am, because quite often I've noticed we've taken on ideas and ideologies, fantasies from other people. And I've bought into this before. I've bought into somebody else's reality of what is happiness. I thought it was money and power. That's how I was raised, and not by my parents, but by those surrounding me, by my teachers, by society. And so I went on a great journey and mission to get this money and power. And I'm really convinced now that I achieved this. I received this money and power when I went and lived in Indonesia and had my business there. Not that I could have money and power, no. But I had it so that I could realize my mistake, that wasn't nourishing me. I had the emptiness in my heart, in my soul, and I was trying to feed it with short-term solutions that would give me a novelty spike and happiness, but novelty wears off. And now I'm convinced that the source was not money or power, but the source is I. And that the key is my awareness, that the I am was my source and key to creating my happiness, derived from a loving presence. But I had an issue. I managed to undo a lot of mental blockades and issues that I had in my life. But I couldn't be happy when I would see others going through the same things that I went through, and I'm still going through today sometimes. So at first I felt, okay, just isolate yourself and live in my own bubble in nature on beautiful Rila mountain in Bulgaria. But I felt that was an escape. And a voice said to me, do you remember on Rila mountain when you had that realization that we are all one soul, and that in order for you to be truly happy, the world needs to be happy too. It's the same thing. And that you made it your goal to spread happiness and be a spiritual teacher so as to empower people, to raise their consciousness to a level where we can be our true self. and aware and lovingly observing as a creator. This was a hard jump for me because it was one thing to know this and to momentarily, while meditating on a beautiful mountain, to feel this, and then to actually experience it and do it. And it took for me a year or two to actually embody it. But enough of me, and I now would like to begin and remind everyone that this is an interactive workshop. I will answer questions at the end. Thank you, and hello, Julia. But I would really require you to have a pen and paper. You will know why later on. People are really suffering today, and this can either be because of the real impact of the COVID-19 symptoms on your physical health, or it's through the thoughts in relation to coronavirus. For this suffering, it is really real, and it is frightening. The situation today can appear as if the self is at a peril. It's the virus we're not in control of, and that uncertain future means that there's potential danger lurking around the corner. But Happiness 8 is aiming to provide a positive alternative to the common narrative in our news feeds, online or on traditional print media. Julian and his team are very wise, and they know the importance of mental health, which can really be related to our thoughts. If we are not mindful of our thoughts, it's like having a garden that we are not attending to. And the plants that are most comfortable in this environment will flourish after they have been planted. But as any gardener knows, there will be unwanted weeds that are growing. And if we wish for the plants that we have planted to grow excellently, we might need to remove some weeds which are taking that vital energy from our plants. Now, if you please bear with me just for 10 seconds, I want you to think, okay, in my mental garden, these are thoughts. So just visualize that there is a garden. What type of flower or plant represents the thoughts that you would like? For example, a rose, a sunflower, a tulip, whatever is your preference. But I also want you to quickly just think of a weed. How the weed or the thoughts that you don't want in your mental garden to exist, how would they look like? How would they feel like? Because I will be talking about them in the future. So I'm giving you now a few seconds. I hope that you have a flower, it could be your favorite flower, that represents the good thoughts in your mental garden, and a weed that represents the bad thoughts. And to draw this analogy to our personality and personal reality, we need to be mindful to create an environment that allows the thoughts that we desire to flourish. And we need to plant the kind of seeds, thoughts that we desire, and actively be removing those thoughts that are not supportive, aka the weeds, of what we aim to have in our mental garden. Now, I invite you to be here now. I understand that your phone may be buzzing and going off, or that you have notifications from social media, but it will just be 30 minutes of your life, and I believe that it can truly make a good impact, and you can truly become happier. So to arrive at this exact moment, which is truly a miraculous event, I mean, the probability for you to be you, for me to be me, for this platform to exist, thanks to Julian and his team, for the internet, for this laptop, for the lights, it's truly excellent. Because to have this, it had to occur from before. A previous now that had produced this gift that we call the present. In a way, it was present to us by our previous generations, by ourselves, by God, by chance, whatever you believe. That is fine. But we can always accept that this moment is truly special, and that really every moment is unique and miraculous. So coming from this place, I want you to quickly think of 10 things that you're grateful for in the next 10 seconds. 10 things, 10 seconds. I know it's rushed, but bear with me, because I'm rushing you so that you don't overthink. Often when we overthink, we start to doubt our thoughts, and that can lead us to all kinds of negative spirals. So I'm going to show you that it's possible. You don't have to overthink. So I'll set a timer of 10 seconds. And in these 10 seconds, I will get 10 gratitudes out. You ready? I'm grateful for the light. I'm grateful for my eyes to see vision. I'm grateful for colors. I'm grateful for feelings. I'm grateful for the laptop. I'm grateful for Julian. I'm grateful for my friends, for my family. I'm not sure if this was exactly 10, but it's possible. So now, come in the present moment. Be ready and arrive here. And just think of 10 things that you're grateful for. Go. So, I hope that you have your 10 gratitudes. And just for you to realize what happened was that sometimes we just take everything for granted. But when we give our brain the main processing unit that we have of this sensory perception, it will immediately act out on a task and seek it. So suddenly you see all these things jumping at you for which you could be grateful for, but you maybe not are grateful for all the time because you take it for granted. It's like when you focus, you close your eyes and you focus on a color, and suddenly you see all those colors around because you have just told your brain to look for those. Now, to stay in this present moment, I want you to take the pen that you have prepared, highlighter, anything, a pen that you will use to write with, and to feel it. Really begin to sense it with your hand. How does it feel like? Is it plastic? Is it wooden? What does it feel to the touch? Now look at it. What color is it? Notice it. What shape is it? How often do we just pass by and not notice it? And now I would like for you to draw a line. Just draw a line on the piece of paper that I asked you to bring. Was it smooth? Is it a thick line, a thin line? Was it easy to do, hard to do? Are you truly present now? Because I'm giving you this mindfulness exercise, not because it's super entertaining, but to bring you present. And you will probably have thoughts that will arise that keep you in old habits, such as, what's the point of all of this? Or why am I got to do this? I don't have time for this. But these are the deadly thoughts that will remove you from the present moment. And they're fine. Just observe them. And ask yourself whether they reflect the beautiful flowers that you have in your mind, the mental garden that you have created before, or are they the weeds that don't represent them? And if you have those, just observe. It's okay. You don't need to do anything about it. By giving awareness to it, you've already done enough. Now, as we have observed the pen, I would like for you to observe the paper. Does it have lines? What shade of white is it? What does it feel like when you stroke it? And now that we are truly present, I want to challenge you to take a deep breath, and when you do, to really exhale loudly. And this is to break another onion layer of conditioning, of worry about what the other will think. Because when we are truly alone, we wouldn't care about what somebody else thinks. So I want you to focus on the self, because you become mindful of yourself. So as I'm doing it, you can join me. Not only does it feel great, it also releases the tension that you have. And if you were a child or alone, it would be all fine. But in relation to the other, we worry what the other person might be thinking. And so we get shy or worried. As you have this paper and pen in front of you, I want you to think and feel of words that you identify with presently, and then to write them down in dot points. So write down in dot points things that you identify with presently. For example, I am worried, I am stressed, I am a son, I am enjoying to eat healthy food, I am grateful for happiness aid. Write for 2 minutes now, just key points, starting with I am, and then whatever you want afterwards. Enjoy. And some of you will be done early, that's great. Then just look in the eyes and stay present. For those of you who are joining, I want you to write down in key points I am, and afterwards what you identify with presently. For those people just joining, it's maybe strange just if somebody looking at you, but there is a task going on. So I hope that you can rewind and have a look through. I assume that most people have now finished. Or actually there is infinite amounts of what you could write. But for now, I think that's okay. Now I want you to think of two symbols that represent whether what you wrote down on this point is in your mental garden a beautiful flower or a weed. So a symbol for a flower and a symbol for a weed. So we're talking about your mental garden that we've created previously. And next to your dot points, make a mark whether this particular sentence is a flower or a weed. Does it represent your highest thought of yourself? Does it support you? Or is it actually something that's negative or not really who you are? Just do that. Shouldn't take too long. Just a quick basic symbol. You don't have to draw a beautiful flower or a weed. It can be a tick or X. That's as simple as it can be. So, as you wrote, I am XYZ, can you see that what comes after the I am is really what we have created as concepts, feelings, or ideas through the information that we had processed by our sensory reality, our body. This exercise I did when I was figuring out who I was after a motorcycle accident. I decided at that point that all the time I have left on Earth was a bonus time. And so that I needed to now live who I was. Immediately, ideas jumped in, because at that point I identified as an entrepreneur. So I had all the business ideas. But who was I? Was I that businessman? I wasn't. It wasn't making me happy. So as I unraveled the identities that I created over the years of the I am XYZ, I began to realize that the more I removed the concepts, the mental constructs that I created about who I thought I was just left with I am. I tried to say, like, because I was constantly saying, I am a son. I'm also a grandson. I'm also a father in the future. So I am just that. I am Timothy, but that's just a name. So as you continuously do that, and it's going to take a while, at some point you're going to stop. You're going to be, I am. And what was that? That was just pure awareness. That's what I was saying. I am. Pure awareness of my sensory impulses, this beautiful reality that's filtered through my mind, that is fed to me. And I created the attachment of what concepts I thought I was. So I am, and you are, and we are beings. So the question really, truly is to be or not to be, because we are beings. And from this state of being observing awareness, we just have done the mindfulness exercise. We have just realized that I am not necessarily exactly what I wrote afterwards, after the I am, but the commonality was always that I am. You are always the commonality, the common denominator between all your experiences. So without those preconceived notions of what you think you are, of what you should be, then really I am that I am is all that I am. And in your case, what you are what you are, that's all that you are. And from this blank state of being, when I ask you now, as pure energy, as awareness centered in this focal point that you identify with momentarily, do you identify as love and the associated experience of freedom, happiness, acceptance? or to identify more with fear, expressed as anger, greed, jealousy. I assume that you would have picked love, because to me that's our true nature. But if you have picked fear, don't worry, because that too is actually love in disguise. Because if you didn't love it, you wouldn't fear for it. Because let's say you are worried and fearful of what's going to happen in your life, it really shows that you love yourself and love your life. Because otherwise you wouldn't worry or fear for it. Now, I hope that you still have your paper and pen in front of you. And I need you to write down 10 things that you love. And as you're writing them, you can also really just write them in the comment section. I would love for you to each at least write 2 things that you love in the comment section. I can see that and that the others can see that. What do you love? If you don't mind, comment what you love. No problem. But I at least want you to go through and write a list of what you love in this life. It might be food, it might be your girlfriend, it might be your parent, it might be your boyfriend, it might be whatever. But really, what is the thing that I have found when I ask this question to a lot of people? A lot of individuals fail to say, I love myself. And for me, as a spiritual person, I understand that in the source of being, everything is the same, and so I am all the things that I love. But I understand that we are also in a physical reality, and that many people identify as the individuality, the beautiful divine dichotomy. But for me, that is a danger, because we tend to think that love is outside of ourselves, that we love other things. But you can't give what you don't have. So in order to love better, you need to love yourself more. So now from this statement of I love myself, your reality is filtered through your mental garden that we have spoken about. So if your thoughts are I love everything else but myself, that will be the reality. You have more experiences of occurrences where you don't love yourself. However, if you start with I love myself, then everything else becomes much easier to love. So having this pure awareness of this mental weed or plant, it doesn't yet exist. If we remember that we just agreed that I am, that is pure awareness. It doesn't have a preference. Because to have a preference means that it needs to be a judgment. And pure awareness doesn't judge, it's just aware. So there is no better or worse or weed or plant. The love basis is underneath it. That's the fertile soil, for the thoughts and for the plants to grow. So can we accept then that it doesn't need to be a preference, but that I am lovingly aware, so that I am love, and everything else is built upon that and maybe hidden from that. Now the last exercise has to do with the self. So if we can accept that I am love, then as a creator, we tend to when you tend to your garden, your mental garden, we can move from being reactive to being creative. And all it takes is for us to see correctly. The pun is intended. I'll show you this. When we live in our lives being reactive, I'm not sure if it's flipped in live stream or not, all we need to do is move the C to being creative. It's the same word. When you're reactive, you use your past to create the future. When you're creative, you're just presently creating who you wish to be. And if you remember, when you're in a creative mood, you don't mentally plan or force anything. Rather, you enter a state of flow. A flow which is similar to surrender. You might remember this from playing musical instruments or from painting. You don't start with an end in mind. You start and you just give yourself to it. A proper musician doesn't think I have to move this and this finger. It just flows naturally. The creation flows through you. when you do this, you engage with it and you follow your intuition and you take responsibility for your creative endeavor. And now I want to think that maybe let us take this creative flow and to take responsibility for our life. And I don't mean take responsibility as take responsibility for your bad actions, take responsibility for whatever we have associated with something negative. But responsibility is really two words. It's the ability to respond, responsibility. And we can really respond to our circumstances. That's the whole point of the internal locus of control rather than external. So we cannot undo the virus, for example, but we can choose with the ability to respond to it. So we can always respond to our circumstance, our reality, our present reality. So from your list of the I ams that we have created, I want you to go through those that you have marked as being a flower of your mental garden and to focus on those. Now, I wonder, and I hope you wonder too, what kind of personality would you require to have to create the present reality of this being, of the being, the awareness of I am love, or I am a mother, I am a foodie. These may be things that are you think actually are positive. I like it. For somebody else, it can be toxic. If you have a problem with food and you love food, but it causes you to become obese, you might not think that I am a foodie is good, and so you have made it as a weed. And so don't focus on those. Focus on those that are your flowers, and think, what kind of personality would I require to create those as my personal reality? What kind of thoughts, aka plants, would you need in your mental garden? What kind of feelings would you require? What kind of behaviors? Well, how would you respond to your day-to-day life? And I encourage you now to close your eyes and to really vividly visualize this. To enter a creative flow. To not judge, to not worry, to not think it's not possible. Just believe. That's all about creativity. To believe that it's possible. Just to let it flow. And I want you to think, and don't worry, it's not going to be gone. Just visualize and think, if I am those traits that I identified with as being flowers, how would my personality be like? For example, I am healthy. Okay, my personality, if I'm healthy, I would choose certain foods over others. I would choose certain beverages over others. I would exercise perhaps more. But health, is it just physical, or maybe it's also emotional and mental? So I would have different thoughts. I would have, when people upset me, I would not give them the power to control me, but I would take responsibility. So to really feel that, I want you to really do that now. I know you're just watching, but please think, what kind of personality would require you to create your personal reality? Now I know that it's a bit rushed, but it's okay, because you don't overthink. And you already know technically what kind of personality you want. These flowers made mental garden next to the I am statements are just there for you to have it visual. So I ask you to write down dot points, just keywords, so that you can later go back to it. What are those things? Is it waking up at 5 a.m. so that I have time to do some more yoga before going to work? What are these behaviors that would lead for you to create a new personal reality? What kind of personality would you require? Just write some dot points down, just keywords. Perfect. So I thank you for your time. And it shows me that you truly love yourself, that you have invested in yourself, which is really the most significant asset that you possess, is yourself. And in closing, I challenge you to revisit this video if need be, and to live your life from the I am, love, and creation. So really you can state this, I am a loving creator. That's who you truly are, a loving creator of your reality. And your reality is dictated by your personality, your personal reality. Your behaviors today. Present. Create the present, present, of the future. So if you know in your mental head, I am awareness, and I'm aware of this being that I want to be, what behaviors do I need to get there? Then in doing so, you actually are creating the future that you desire now. So maybe in the morning what you could do is visualize and set easy tasks to slowly do this. Because habits take time to create, and so there's no rush. It took years to create the habit of being yourself now. So it's going to take some time, less than all those years. I don't know how old you are right now, but it will take some time to create this habit. So don't push it. Go slow. Don't go trying to be fit by telling yourself you need to run 5Ks immediately. I've done that, doesn't work. Start with fun. Go play frisbee, that's what I'm doing. Or play tennis. Find something that is working for you. And at night, reflect on that. What has worked, what didn't work. Not in a judgmental way, not in a manner that is negative, but as an observer, a loving observer, because you're lovingly aware. Be your best friend and treat others how you wish to be treated. But more importantly, treat yourself how you wish to treat others, because very often we are more cruel to ourselves than we are to other people. So I will stay online for a few minutes, depending on if I get any questions or comments. And if you wish to later on reach out to me because you're watching this video, then please feel free to search for me on Instagram or Facebook. It's the same name. It's Timothy Burki. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. And to enjoy your weekend in a creative way, in a lovingly aware, creative way, to be the change that you desire to see. Thank you. And I'll be online now to answer any questions you might have. Okay. Either I was very clear or I was, oh wait, sorry, I didn't Malay nature. Payano, sorry. That's awesome. I love nature. I love myself and nature. Hey, I didn't see this, sorry. Hey, thank you, Julian. Yeah, so loving, it's great that you said I love myself and nature. A lot of people, when I ask them this question to write down a list of 10 things that they love, they try often to be altruistic. And there's this sort of group mentality that I should write the positive things down. And so they write down, I love nature. I love nature too, by the way, Rena, so that's a good one. I love the football club Chelsea. I love Perth. I love my dog. I love my mom. I love my sister. I love my, I don't know, whatever. But in all of this, they don't mention themselves. And often we are so worried that others will think that loving yourself is wrong, that we don't mention this. But when we go deeper and we find the source of all being one thing, then really all the things that you love are yourself. They're just different parts of yourself, different reflections of yourself. So with this exercise, I like to make people aware that we need to love ourselves. And this feeling of love, that love is reserved for one person, that it's limited, it's a finite resource, we need to hold on to it, and we cannot share it widely, it really comes from this fear. But if you as a parent, you would know that when you have one child, you love it 100%. And then you have a second child. Now you don't half the love and give both 50%. No, you double it and give both 100%. So love, it's just energy. It's a feeling. It's a sense of being. It's technically all that we are. And so the more we spread it, the more we share it, the more we will have it. And I really hope to share more love. And giving my time here, I really hope that I understand the time has been a bit rushed. Just because I know that some people jump in and some people jump out. Some are not really. I didn't hear at the beginning that there needs to be a pen and paper, that there's an exercise. But at any time, this will be posted. So you can always go again and have a read and look through it and work on it and do it in your own time. Pause the video. As soon as I post it, once I end it, you can pause it and work through it. And really you will be left with feeling empowered, because you suddenly realize that you're not a victim of the circumstance of coronavirus, but rather you are a creator of your response to it, and that you are pure awareness. And all the other things are just concepts that you have created around who you think you are. But if you're just pure awareness, then there is no right or wrong, good or bad. It just is. And however you respond to it actually shows a lot about who you have decided to be. So if you come from a place of I am, then you can ask yourself, well, what am I? And am I fear or love? What do I identify with more? And if you say that, okay, I am love, then you can also see that, okay, love creates. So creation is more present focused than reaction. And reactive and creative is the same thing if you just move the C to the front. So creative and reactive. But reactive uses the past to create the future. You react to the present moment in a way that you have stored from previous memories of occurrences of how you saw somebody react, or how you think you should react. But if you use the creative sense, then you do it in the present moment. You take responsibility, which I have already said previously, is the ability to respond. You see that it is what it is, as a pure awareness. I'm not trying to change anything of what is, it is. But I can decide how I am in relation to that, and whether I choose to be a victim or to be a creator. So I will end at this. Where can we reach your email? Yeah, so it's always the same. It's my name. So in Instagram or Facebook, you can find it with Timothy Burki, Timothy Burki. And email, it's the same. It's Timothy, then full stop, Burki @gmail.com. If you have any questions or anything, or you'd like to work further on this, always happy to reach out to me. Lorena Perl. Loving ourselves releases amazing energies, and you will receive this energy back. Love is so powerful. Yes, exactly. And really the saying of treat others how you wish to be treated, if we understand that we are all from the same source, then how you treat somebody else really is how you treat yourself. And it's not even just in the spiritual realm, but if it's just from pure logic. Let's say you have this person and you feel resentful to this person, anger. Now you send this anger to this person, but where does the anger get felt? The anger is within you, so you are the victim of your own anger, not the other person necessarily. So it's really in your own benefit, your own well-being, that you choose love. And it becomes so much easier to create. It becomes easier not to worry. It becomes easier not to be scared. When we come in the present moment and you accept what it is, we are not stuck in the what if coronavirus wouldn't have happened, then I would be much happier. Or why couldn't it? These are just ways that we are actually fighting the present moment. And the way that we can create a better future is right now. And to do so, we need to take responsibility as the loving creators with pure awareness that we are. So thank you very much, Lorena, Christina, Julian, Julian Silber, and Rina Faslina, as well as Julian Pace, commenting, awesome audience. All the others who have watched, and if it was a bit rushed, and if you just jumped in halfway, please start again, get a pen and paper ready, and reach out to me with any questions that you have. Much love to you, enjoy your weekend, and create actively from love. Bye-bye.